Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore of Alabama grabbed the neck of a 16-year-old girl and tried to force her head into his crotch after offering her a ride home from work in the 1970s, the tearful victim said Monday. Beverly Young Nelson, the fifth woman to accuse the Bible Belt Republican of sexual misconduct that occurred decades ago, when the alleged victims were all teens, said Monday that Moore violently attacked her inside his car. The former beauty pageant contestant said Moore, who had signed her high school yearbook, had offered her a ride home at the end of one of her shifts at the Oldie Hickory House restaurant in Gadsden, Ayla, where she worked as a waitress. But instead of driving onto the highway as she expected, he pulled around to the back, parked in a dark spot beside a dumpster, locked her door and began groping her breasts. He began squeezing my neck, attempting to force my head onto his crotch. I continued to struggle. I was determined that I was not going to allow him to force me to have sex with him, an emotional young Nelson, 55, said at a press conference in New York, with her husband and lawyer Gloria Allred. I was terrified. He was also trying to pull my shirt off. I thought that he was going to rape me. I was twisting and struggling and begging him to stop. I had tears running down my face, she said. She said Moore eventually gave up and issued a chilling warning. Susan Watts, New York Daily News. You are a child. I am the district attorney of Etowah County. If you tell anyone about this, no one will believe you, she recalled him saying. Moore eventually unlocked her car door, and she either fell out or he pushed me out, young Nelson said. She said Moore previously tried to flirt with her by tugging at her waist-length red hair as she passed him inside the restaurant. But she was not interested in having a sexual relationship with a man twice my age. On Monday, she produced one of her high school yearbooks and said Moore signed it shortly before the alleged attack. To a sweeter, more beautiful girl I could not say, Merry Christmas, Moore wrote on December 22, 1977. He signed it, Love, Roy Moore DA, and cited the location as Oldie Hickory House. Allred urged the Senate Judiciary Committee to hold a public hearing on the allegations as soon as possible and allow young Nelson to testify under oath. We believe that since Mr. Moore is seeking a seat in the United States Senate, he should support testimony under oath before the Senate Judiciary Committee so that the facts can be determined in an open forum and in a fair manner, Allred said. Moore on Monday told reporters in Alabama he didn't know young Nelson. I never did what she said I did. I don't even know the woman. I don't even know where the restaurant is or was, he said. Moore also called Allred a sensationalist leading a witch hunt and said he was the victim of a political hit campaign by Democrats and establishment Republicans. Young Nelson's allegations follow a bombshell Washington Post expose in which 4 women said Moore targeted them for dates when he was in his early 30s and they were ages 14, 16, 17 and 18. Susan Watts, New York Daily News. The accusations have challenged his fitness to face Democrat Doug Jones in a critical December 12 special election to fill the Senate seat vacated by Attorney General Jeff Sessions. The Washington Post on Thursday first revealed chief accuser Lee Kaufman and her damaging claims she was only 14 years old when a 32-year-old Moore initiated a sexual encounter with her in 1979. Kaufman said Moore, then an assistant district attorney, approached her and her mother outside an Etowah County courtroom and offered to watch her while the mom went inside for a hearing. Kaufman said Moore asked for her phone number and later picked her up around the corner from her residence for 2 secret visits to his secluded house in the woods. On the first visit, Moore kissed her and complimented her looks, she said. During the second visit, Moore allegedly removed his clothes, touched her through her bra and underpants and guided her hand to touch his erect penis over his underwear, she said. Bryn Anderson app I wanted it over with, I wanted out, Kaufman, now 53, recalled, thinking. Please just get this over with. Whatever this is, just get it over. Moore, 70, said he doesn't remember dating any girl without the permission of her mother. I don't know Ms. Kaufman from anybody, he said on Sean Hannity's radio show after the report. The allegations of sexual misconduct with her are completely false. The Washington Post piece published November 9 also quoted 3 other women who said a 30-something Moore pursued romantic relationships with them when they were teenagers. Moore recalled knowing 2 of the accusers, Gloria Thacker Deason and Debbie Wesson Gibson, but said he couldn't remember going out on dates with them. Gadsden locals, where Moore was born, said it was whispered around town that had once been banned from the local mall for badgering young girls, according to The New Yorker. Two of Moore's accusers said they met Moore at Gadsden Mall, and the Post said some ex-employees recalled seeing him there frequently, usually alone and well-dressed in slacks and a button-down shirt. New York Daily News: Moore has admitted to taking young girls out after he returned from serving in Vietnam, but denied serving one of the girls wine because the alleged date would have been in a dry county. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said Monday that Moore should step aside in light of the allegations. Other senators, including Texans Ted Cruz and John Cornyn, withdrew their endorsements of Moore. Moore responded by saying it's McConnell who should quit. The person who should step aside is its Senate Majority Mitch McConnell. He has failed conservatives and must be replaced. Drain the swamp, he tweeted. With Christopher Brennan, Ginger Adams Otis.